So this is my 10th year coming to Ottawa, and it's just crazy how time flies. But my first time was in 2009, and I came as part of a university group as a faculty member for the University of Pennsylvania. And after my first time, I was like, okay, this needs to be a yearly moment to both connect with members of the community, to see the most recent and interesting changes that are happening, both independently and in the industry, and to enjoy the beauty of Canada. Oh my gosh. So I am a full-time professor at MICA, Maryland Institute College of Art, in their animation program. I'm also an independent filmmaker and interdisciplinary artist. So at any given week, I am working on projects for gallery spaces. I just finished a film with my collaborator, which is currently just starting the circuit. So it just did its international premiere in Paris last week. It'll be in Baltimore next week. And so have kind of the independent films. And then teaching is a vital part of my daily life, because the students just fill me with inspiration. So it's an important kind of triumvirate of these independent working the animation side as well as the gallery side, and then teaching. One of my favorite things here, besides of course the networking and seeing old friends, is seeing the master classes. Those are, to me, like, if you're going to come to a festival, if you can have that moment with a creative person to hear how their perspective on their work, their perspective on the world, their perspective on art. And so I went to a master class this morning with Lele. Amazing. Last night I saw a performance by Kathy Rose, which I've been wanting to see a live performance for so many years, and I took my breath away. And so that's one of the beautiful things about coming to a festival, particularly Ottawa. It's so large, the largest in North America, and so you have many people coming in internationally, and being able to see those perspectives and listen and engage in conversations. It's priceless. Oh gosh, come to festivals. It's a huge amount. I teach a professional practices class, and in that, networking is such a key part. And I think a part, people see it as a negative. It becomes like this icky word of networking, and it can feel that way. But what I think is important is to not feel like you're trying to get a job. Networking is about building relationships. And so if you come into the space thinking like, okay, I have to give my card, I have to give this thing to this person in order to get a job, it might work out, but that's not really the goal. The goal is to connect with a person. You then continue to build that relationship, and you may or may not get opportunities from that, but you are going to learn and you are creating friendships, which sounds so cheesy, but it's so true. And so when I come here every year, there are people that I don't see, like I don't get to see Pilar at all, and we just ran into each other, and it was such a joy. And even though we see each other in social network, that space of being able to connect about the most recent project, and to find out about families and lives, and that's what it's really about. So I think coming at it, business cards are not dead. They're not dead. It's a chance to quickly kind of exchange that info, but really go in to have a conversation, and to learn something about someone else, and then doing the follow-ups and creating that relationship, but then going back and saying, hey, I really appreciated the time that you gave me, or the conversations we had. Could we keep this going? So that it happens throughout the year. And then when you have that FaceTime at a festival, it just reignites those relationships. What I would say within animation is often there is a myopic view of what animation is. And particularly for a student coming in, they have a very small window of what they may perceive as possible. And particularly now that technology is in a place where it's so accessible, and many people can actively create. And often when we think of it just being, industry is amazing and it should be supportive, and wonderful technology changes because of industry. But to think that you can only work in a studio and define that as being your goal, I did industry for 10 years. And I'm so grateful for it. But then also recognizing there's the art world, and there's the sciences and medical fields, and so many places in which animation not only inspires, but elevates what's possible and the understanding. And for instance, at MICA, we have a program where students are working directly with NASA scientists. And so they are learning within astro spaces with NASA, and then they're creating work to help engage with the public. And it's like recognizing that there are tons of animators that can work at NASA and within their art department. And that's not often a goal that people have or even think is possible. So recognizing that animation is throughout all industries, and not just within teaching, not just within art, but within the sciences and the full range. So recognizing that is a space for you. So if you really love paleontology, there is a space for you to be creating work within that. And so within your studies, it's important to be doing both arts, but also recognizing the needs of sciences and other spaces to get your ideas from. Yes, the tech is important, but then being able to be a creative source and be reading and studying outside of just our industry spaces.